Hello and welcome back to Song Surveys on Sofas with Superheroes, the sub-series. So this song I am like so excited to talk about, and this band is also just like super exciting as well. So last week we did a newer song, and so this week we're doing an older song, and so the band is You, Me, and Everyone We Know, and they definitely are at least partially local to Baltimore. One of their songs says like walking the streets in Baltimore, so that's pretty cool in and of itself. And I actually saw them fairly recently. I've seen them before a long time ago, but they played a show, I want to say with Have Mercy maybe, and they weren't at their best, but I was super excited to see them. I wish they had played more of the songs that I had wanted to hear, but it was still cool to see them. And I definitely don't think they're a band anymore, which is sad because their music is so good. And a lot of their music is actually about how, I want to say, someone who was supposed to be helping them with their career was definitely hurting them. And it's definitely clear in one of the albums for sure. It's pretty much like every song was like, hey, you totally screwed us over, and thanks for that. But I think this song also reflects that as well. And so yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the band is You, Me, and Everyone We Know, which apparently was created after the movie Me, You, and Everyone We Know. They were just like, they had just seen that movie, were thinking of a band name, so they went with You, Me, and Everyone We Know. And the song is called Carolina Heat. And yeah, so this song has a lot of audible breaths, and I love that in songs in general. Some of them are really subtle and some of them are a little less subtle, but this song starts with an audible breath, and the music doesn't start until the first two words are actually sang. And yeah, so for the most part, actually for the first like couple minutes of the song, it's pretty much just like a simple guitar and like an acoustic guitar. Not so much an electric guitar, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, so I love in the first line the word tip top. So I think one, it achieves what they're talking about, right? They're talking about like, we're at the tip top, we're not getting any better than this. But I just love the choice of word tip top, one, because it's a little bit of alliteration, and two, because I think it achieves what they set out to achieve, right? They are at the very top. And you just like don't hear that very often, so I really do like, just I know it's like a simple silly thing, but I really do just like that word choice. I think it worked really well, and I think it's a really great way to kind of start this song off in particular, because I mean most of the lyrics from this band are pretty clever and fantastic, but this song in particular I really just love the cleverness of the words, especially in the chorus, which again we'll get to. Okay, so it talks about like being out of lines and not getting any smoother, and but then I like really love the repetition in the next couple lines and just the next couple lines in general. But could you blame me if I took you all for prisoner with just one line because, and then that because goes into the next line. And I just like love the repetition because, one, it's super effective, right? You kind of hear it and you're like, oh wait, this is interesting. My ear is not used to this repetition. But I also think it's great because they basically just said what they wanted to say and didn't try and add words. And, you know, so the consequence was them repeating lines. It totally worked. And again, I love that they kind of did what they wanted to do. And I think a lot of their like grievances with this person who really messed them up was that they weren't kind of allowed to do whatever they wanted to do, and they were told to maybe do certain things to be more popular or whatever. So I love that in just those two lines of the first verse, they're kind of like, well, listen, this is what we want to say, and so if we have to repeat it, we have to repeat it. And it was so effective, and it's such a good, and again, it's such a good grabbing part of the song. So I really like that. And yeah, so then what I love is, so there's this other audible breath right after because. So I like that it goes into the next line, but then is kind of like, you get this like this separation. But I do, again, these breaths, like some of them are super obvious and some of them are not. But so I really like the delineation between the two. I think it was really well done and really quite good. Quite a good choice for that particular line. Okay, so then it talks about being a preacher, getting converts, and healing to go, right? So you're thinking like this quick, like, all right, well, like, we're just like, yep, okay, yep, healed you, I converted you, you're good. But the line that I really love the most is when it says, if the lesson's never learned, it's like stitches for show. So I just like love the idea of you like having not learned this lesson in the haste of just trying to like get things done. But also like just the idea of like the stitches for show, right? So it's like you convinced everybody that you've gone through this terrible event or terrible tragedy or just this terrible pain, and it's not even real. You kind of just did it for show to be like, oh no, yeah, trust me, I've done this before. Like, don't worry. Like, oh yeah, I'm tough. I can do this. So I really like that idea, and I like that image in my head of like not learning the lesson, but then making it seem like you have, because you've been through something that you haven't been through. Is just stitches for show. So I really like that line, and I think that's really cool. So anyway, then this point the guitar changes, and it builds to as the lyrics are being sang through that last line into the chorus. But again, it doesn't change in terms of type of instrument so much as just the melody of the instrument. So the music is definitely different, like I was just saying, but it's still that simpler guitar, and there's like a big breath right before the chorus starts. And yeah, so the whole chorus is super clever. The first line mentions Carolina heat and trying to beat it and keeping cool. But then they say a line that says, but don't discount their winter winds and all the cold shoulders that the slightest draft lets in. I like love the comparison between like winter winds and drafts, right? And like coming in and then this idea of people turning their backs and they're like giving you the cold shoulder. So I love the comparison. I love that you get this image of like this like wintry coldness with this combination of, you know, people who are just basically like suddenly ignoring you because of one slightest draft, right? The slightest draft lets in. So it's the one, a baby thing goes wrong and like, that's it, you're done. These people are just going to turn their backs on you. So I really love that line. I think it's so clever, especially when you're talking about, you know, this Carolina heat, trying to keep cool. And I also love that they never used words twice, right? They never used cold twice. They never used cool twice. Winter winds, right? To again, give you that idea of cold. So just the words are so clever and it's just so well done. And there's like just no repetition to explain the same thing. So I really love that. And yeah, so that's like definitely one of the lines in the chorus that I love. So then this next part is like absolutely brilliant. I love the lines. I think it's so good. And then again, you get this small breath to start it, and then it's end with empty stomachs and hungry eyes. Our only choice was to swallow pride, but I guess you just ate much better than the rest. And I mean, just like mind blown, right? Like you have this empty stomach and hungry eyes. So again, you didn't use the hungry twice. You used a different way to say a similar thing, right? Empty stomachs means you're hungry, right? And then hungry eyes means like you're, you know, like just looking and desperate, and you think like, oh, like you just want to take it all in. And so I like love that they use those two things to kind of say exactly what they're kind of trying to mean. And then swallowing pride, right? So you're hungry, so the only thing you can like eat is your own pride. It's just so clever. It's so good. And then you just ate much better than the rest, right? So while these people are doing these things that are not something they're proud of and are, you know, maybe even shameful and something that they, you know, wish they didn't have to do, this person's like kind of behind the scenes and not having to do these things and is eating better than the rest. I love those lyrics. I think it's so brilliant and really gets their point across in such a clever way. So I really love those lines in the end of the chorus. Then there's like a few seconds of silence and another breath to start the next verse. And again, the guitar kind of goes back and remains that simple, just like acoustic sounding guitar. So the very first line is we're at the ground floor, and that will come back later. But so just wanted to get that out now. And then the line I really love for this verse in particular is, it's not the failure, but the cost of success is the thing I can't help but fear. And I just really love that line. I mean, yes, it's like, interesting conceptually, right? So you're not afraid of failure. It's more just like the cost of success. So that is interesting in and of itself. But what really draws me to this line in particular is the wording, the order of the wording. I think is just, again, you kind of like present the things and then talk about them, and that doesn't really happen a lot. So I love that. I think it's a really interesting way to present that idea. And it's an interesting idea in general, right? Like, so you're not actually afraid of the failure. It's really the cost of success. That's the thing that scares you. And what does that mean, cost of success, right? Like, I mean, I don't think they're talking about monetary costs. I think they're more talking about like, you know, not being able to walk down the street, or, you know, just having to be away from family. So I don't know, like, are those the things that they're talking about? And so it's interesting that, yeah, like, so maybe failure isn't so scary, because then you would take you on this different path that would keep you here and nobody would know you and you would be able to have a normal job. Like, but is that less scary than being successful and having all these people and, you know, fans and things? I don't know. So that's just like an interesting concept, but I just really, the reason I love that line is because of the way they presented that concept. So I think the word order is super interesting. Okay. So then they do this super fantastic thing, which I love. Not the best part of the song, but pretty close second. So the lines are, "You just convinced me to write this. It's for the greater good, because I'd rather be great than good." Love the lines, but that's not why it's fantastic. So what happens is, one singer is singing the line, "You just convinced me," and as they're singing "me to write this," another singer comes in and sings, "It's for the greater," or "it's for the," right? And so then that first line finishes the "you just convinced me to write this," and then that second singer finishes "greater good." And then the first singer comes back in and sings, "It's because I'd rather be great than good." Because I'd rather be great than good. So I love that. I love that it's like a conversational part of the song, right? So you get the singer who's saying, "You just convinced me to write this," right? And then as he's saying that, it's almost like he's like remembering the conversation that this other person and him had, right? So he's saying, "It's for the greater good," right? And then you're going back and saying, "You convinced me to write this because I'd rather be great than good." So I just like love that little tiny line in the middle that makes you really think it's like a conversation with this other singer. It's so clever and just so great. And again, I love the, like, I'd rather be great than good, or for the greater good, I'd rather be great than good. So yeah, like someone was convincing him, like, "Trust me, this is really, it's going to be, you know, it might not be great now, but I promise you it's really going to be great in the end. Wouldn't you rather be great than just good? Like, this is what's going to take you to that level." So I love it. It's like super fantastic the way that it's sang, and it just, it makes this part of the song so good. And also just makes the verse different, right? It breaks it up and you're like, "Ooh, wait, this is a new voice. And ooh, this is different." They're kind of overlapping the lyrics. So really great choice. Love that part of the song. So then there's a buildup of the guitar into the chorus again. And there's nothing really different about the chorus, so that's fine. But then after the chorus, you get this first note of the electric guitar for the first time, followed by a repetition of the line. This is where that first line comes back in. "We're at the ground floor." And it's like kind of saying in this like faded way, and definitely at the ground floor part, you can hear the filter really strong. And it's, again, it has like that faded sound, like not quite in the foreground, but kind of in the middle ground. And then as that line, "We're at the ground floor," is being sang, the percussion comes in for the first time too. So that's pretty awesome effect. You kind of get this like feel of, ooh, now this song is like, ooh, it's like kind of different and starting almost in a way, even though we're halfway through. And then there's like a little bit of the instrumentation, right? So you get the drums and that electric guitar still. And then it says, "It's not the failure," again, in that repeated, faded kind of middle ground sounding voice. And then the percussion and guitar continues, and then you get this breath, and then the bass comes in, and it's just like the best part of the song. It's so fantastic. The choices were so good. The lyrics are so good, and it's just everything about this part, which I guess would technically be the second bridge. Oh my God. I mean, like, so mind-blowingly good. It's so fantastic. If you listen to no other part of this song, please listen to this part. It's so good. Love this song. Like, there were a lot of songs I could have picked by this band, and this moment in this song right now is why I chose this song. Just because this part is just one of my favorite parts of any song of all time. Okay, so the lyrics are, again, right, so now you have this full sound, bass comes in for the first time, it's super awesome. Your skin was a peeling wallpaper, now your skin is just peeling wallpaper. Your skin was a peeling wallpaper. And so that paper part is held for a pretty long time. Like a couple seconds. So it's great. But then it gets repeated, and the instruments are more full. And this time, the singer's voice kind of takes on this fantastic filter with like more of like a, like, I don't want to say heavier, it's just like more of a full sound. Because it's not like, we're not screaming, really. We're just more of a full sound. And so it gets repeated, but this time, as the word paper is being held at the end, this other line comes in. Now your skin is just peeling, your skin is just peeling. But the way they say your skin is just peeling that second time is almost like, I don't know, I want to say it's conversational, right? Because it becomes like, your skin is just peeling. Like, it's just so good. And I don't know if it's like sarcastic or mocking or what, but it is just, the way it's said makes it so fantastic, and it just adds such a layer. We already have repetition that sounds new because of the filter, plus this new line, the new way to say this line, even though this line is repeated twice now. So good. It's, your skin is just peeling. Like, it's just so good. It's so good. Okay, so then this part is repeated again with the second repetition that was added, right? So it's your skin was a peeling wallpaper, now your skin is just peeling wallpaper. Your skin was a peeling wallpaper, now your skin is just peeling, your skin is just peeling. But this time we get another line added, and it is, your skin is just peeling off. And so off is saying with such an energy, and the drums are building because right after this it goes into the chorus, and it's just so good, and it's just the buildup, right? Your skin is just peeling, your skin is just peeling, your skin is just peeling off. It's so good. Really love this part. It's, again, one of my favorite parts of any song of all time. It's just so fantastic. So well done, especially because you spend the first like 2 minutes of this song with just guitar, and then you build in the bridge, and then you get this amazing part with these super clever lyrics about, you know, skin being appealing and then peeling. And I just love the imagery of it. I just love the idea of seeing skin like peeling off of someone and being like appealing, and now it's just like gross and peeling. Like, oh, it's just so good. It's so good. So good. Anyway, so yeah, then the chorus goes back in, and this time the instruments have this full sound, which makes the chorus sound so new, which is so cool. Like, to just have this same exact chorus repeated the same exact way, no lines are changed, but just because of this full sound and not just the guitar anymore, this like full sound, it sounds so good. And there is definitely, again, you like can hear those audible breaths in, which did happen in the first chorus, but also happen now here still. Even though the sound is full, you can still hear it, so I really like that. And yeah, and so at the end, the last word is rest, and so they kind of hold it, it's like rest. Yeah, so really good. The music then like just kind of fades out, and that's the end of the song. But overall, a fantastic song by a super, like, just clever band. And you can definitely, like, hear the emotion behind all their songs. If you've never checked them out, check them out. They're just so good. Living a Dream is fantastic. What's the other one? I don't know, something about, no. I don't know, I'll think of it. But anyway, it's so good. Please check this band out. They're fantastic. And yeah, let me know what you think. Have you heard them before? Have you not heard them before? Have you checked out that part with the appealing wallpaper? Because those are really great. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.